When you talk about Korean celebrity couples who shook the entire Hallyu wave, one name echoes louder than most: Min Ho and Bae Suzy. He was the ultimate K-drama heartthrob, a man whose mere presence on screen could freeze time. She was the nation's first love, adored for her innocence and magnetic charm. Together, they weren't just a couple, they were the embodiment of a modern fairy tale. But what happens when a real-life love story ends too soon? Does it fade quietly into the pages of history, or does it linger like a ghost, haunting fans who still whisper, "What if?" Years have passed since their breakup, yet Suzy and Min Ho's names continue to appear together in headlines, forums, and rumor mills. The world has moved on, or has it? Min Ho isn't just an actor, he's a cultural phenomenon. From his breakout role in Boys Over Flowers to his mature performance in The King, Eternal Monarch, Min Ho has cemented himself as the face of Korean romance. His tall frame, commanding presence, and gentlemanly aura made him every fan's dream boyfriend. But behind the polished red carpet looks and drama posters, Min Ho has often been described as shy, introverted, and surprisingly private. This only fueled more curiosity. What kind of woman could capture his heart in real life? On the other hand, Suzy's rise was nothing short of meteoric. From her early days in Miss A to her stunning transition into acting with hits like While You Were Sleeping and Startup, she became Korea's sweetheart. Suzy wasn't just beautiful, she carried an aura of innocence, the kind of charm that made even casual viewers feel protective of her. But Suzy wasn't just a pretty face. As she grew older, she reinvented herself, taking on bolder roles, evolving musically, and redefining what it meant to be an idol-turned-actress. And somewhere along the way, her path crossed with Min Ho's, a moment that would change K-entertainment history. It was 2015 when Korean media outlets dropped a bombshell. Min Ho and Suzy were dating. Photos emerged of the two stars secretly meeting in London, disguising themselves and enjoying simple, quiet dates away from the flashing cameras of Seoul. The revelation broke the internet. Two of Korea's biggest stars, an A-list actor and the nation's first love, were in love. It was too good to be true. Fans were torn between shock, excitement, and even jealousy. Some rooted for them with all their hearts, while others worried about the pressures of celebrity relationships. For a while, it seemed like the perfect romance. They weren't flaunting their love, but they weren't denying it either. There was a sense of maturity in the way they handled it, giving each other space while balancing demanding careers. Yet, as with many celebrity romances, the fairy tale had an expiration date. By late 2017, their agencies confirmed the heartbreaking news: Min Ho and Suzy had broken up. But here's where the story gets interesting, because fans never stopped believing that maybe, just maybe, their love story wasn't really over. A breakup, or just a pause. When the agencies of both Min Ho and Suzy announced their breakup in 2017, the world accepted it with a heavy sigh. Busy schedules was the official reason, but to fans, that explanation felt too clean, too polished, almost like it was hiding something deeper. Could two people so wildly in love really part ways just because of schedules? Or was there more to the story, perhaps something the public wasn't meant to know? Even after their official split, fans began noticing coincidences in the pair's social media activities. For example, Min Ho posted scenic photos during his travels, and just days later, Suzy uploaded pictures in eerily similar locations. Their Instagram captions sometimes seemed to echo one another, vague phrases about missing someone or new beginnings. But once, both posted about London within weeks of each other. To casual fans, it was harmless. But to eagle-eyed shippers, it felt like breadcrumbs leading to a secret reunion. Of course, no proof ever surfaced, but in the world of K-drama fandom, coincidences often fuel entire theories. Another turning point came during Min Ho's mandatory military service. Fans speculated that Suzy, despite being quiet publicly, had not entirely moved on. There were whispers of Suzy sending quiet support, of her being spotted near locations where Min Ho was stationed. Though unverified, these whispers gained traction online. Some fans swore they saw Suzy's manager near Min Ho's service camp. Others argued it was impossible given her busy schedule. But the rumor remained, spreading like wildfire across online forums. One of the strongest pieces of evidence fans held on to was the supposed matching accessories. At award shows and airport sightings, both stars were occasionally seen wearing similar rings, hats, or even watches. In 2019, Suzy was spotted with a bracelet that many claimed looked identical to one Min Ho had worn earlier in the year. Did they really share couple items long after their breakup? Or was it just a coincidence? Fans weren't ready to believe in coincidence anymore. Interestingly, both Min Ho and Suzy remained extremely silent whenever rumors of reconciliation arose. Neither confirmed nor denied anything. In an industry where even small whispers can snowball into headlines, their silence was deafening. Some saw this as proof that there was still something to hide. Others argued it was simply professionalism. But one thing was clear: the silence only kept the mystery alive. Imagine this. Min Ho returns to the screen with another hit drama, and Suzy is cast as his leading lady. It sounds like a fanfiction fantasy, but in Korea's entertainment industry, stranger things have happened. Fans on Twitter and TikTok have already created edits of the two together, blending clips from different dramas. The chemistry feels so real, so undeniable, that people often forget these aren't actual scenes but carefully stitched fan creations. If a production company were bold enough to cast them together again, it wouldn't just be another drama. It would be an event, the kind that dominates headlines across Asia. And who knows? Sometimes fiction has a way of reigniting reality. Another curious detail: since Suzy and Min Ho split, neither has been publicly confirmed in long-term, high-profile relationships. Suzy was briefly linked to another actor, but it faded quickly. Min Ho has been rumored here and there, but nothing concrete. Could it be that both of them are waiting? Could it be that the reason their dating lives seem oddly quiet is because their hearts are still tied to each other in ways they can't admit? On fan cafes and forums, one phrase appears over and over again: Minzy forever. It's the couple nickname given by shippers who still believe that Min Ho and Bae Suzy are destined to be together. Some of these fans even organize yearly online. Every time Min Ho steps onto a red carpet, cameras flash and fans scream, but there's always one question whispered beneath the noise: is Suzy watching? And whenever Suzy posts a new selfie or appears in a drama, the comments inevitably flood with the same line: Min Ho must regret letting her go. Neither of them has openly spoken about each other since their breakup, but in some ways, that silence is louder than words. It allows room for speculation, for longing, for hope. And hope, when it comes to celebrity couples, is often stronger than truth. Take 2020, for example. Min Ho returned to drama land with The King, Eternal Monarch. Around the same time, Suzy made waves in Startup. Two different dramas, two different networks, but fans noticed something strange. Their promotional schedules never overlapped. Why does this matter? Because in K-entertainment, overlap often means media questions, and media questions about ex-lovers can be awkward. Was this careful planning by their agencies to avoid linking them again? Or was it the opposite, a quiet way to protect something fragile that still exists between them? Some fans swear by what they call the hidden glances theory. During award shows and public events, both Min Ho and Suzy have occasionally been in the same venue. Fans claim that if you watch closely, you can catch them stealing subtle glances at each other. One video clip from a 2019 awards show went viral after fans pointed out how Min Ho's eyes seemed to follow Suzy as she walked past his table. It wasn't blatant, it wasn't obvious, but it was enough to send the internet into meltdown. Was it just a coincidence of camera angles, or a moment of unguarded truth? Nobody knows. But the mystery only adds fuel to the fire. If K-dramas thrive on second-chance romances, then Min Ho and Suzy are the perfect script waiting to happen. Picture it. Two ex-lovers reunite years later under unexpected circumstances. They must work together, maybe as business rivals, maybe as co-parents, maybe as strangers who recognize something painfully familiar in each other's eyes. The tension is thick, the chemistry undeniable. Now imagine if those roles weren't fictional at all, but played out in real life. The blurred line between drama and reality would make it the most talked about pairing in K-drama history. In forums, fans often write things like, "I don't care who they date now. My heart will always want Min Ho and Suzy together." They're the one couple that feels unfinished, like their story isn't over yet. Maybe when the timing is right, they'll find their way back to each other. This isn't just fandom delusion. It's a collective cultural memory. Their relationship was so iconic that people aren't ready to close the book on it. Other Korean celebrity couples have come and gone, some even marrying, some breaking up messily. But Min Ho and Suzy's story feels different. It feels incomplete. Perhaps it's because their breakup was so quiet, without scandal or bitterness. Perhaps it's because neither has publicly fallen into another deep, long-term relationship since. Or perhaps it's because fans want, no, need, to believe that fairy tales can come true, even in the harsh glare of fame. So we're left with one lingering question. What if Min Ho and Suzy aren't done? What if all the coincidences, the silences, the hidden glances, are not random at all but deliberate threads of a love story being written in the shadows? What if, one day, without warning, a photo surfaces of them together again, walking side by side, smiling, unafraid? The internet would break. Headlines would explode. Fans would cry. And the legend of Min Ho and Suzy would finally have its second chapter. Until then, the suspense remains. Every glance, every Instagram post, every piece of jewelry analyzed under a magnifying glass. Their story may be paused, but it is far from forgotten. Min Ho and Bae Suzy's romance might have officially ended years ago, but in the world of fans, media, and quiet speculation, it still lives on. Whether they are truly over or secretly circling back to one another, one thing is clear. They are a couple that refuses to fade into history. Some stories end with a period. Others end with a question mark. And then there are the rare few, like Min Ho and Suzy's, that end with an ellipsis, three little dots that whisper, "To be continued."